So the Zenless Zone Zero patch 1.2 livestream just ended, and in it they went over all the cool new things that we can expect to see when the update arrives. Now whether you missed it or you don't have time to rewatch it, I'll give you a quick rundown on everything that you missed in the stream. First things first though, the thing that I know you're all here for, the freebies, and that is going to be the redemption code Tour de Inferno. Make sure you redeem this quickly as it only lasts a day, so that's going to be until the 14th of September. But that is not the only thing that is going to expire by then though, as there is also a Twitter event where you could win 10 master tapes. All you have to do to have a chance to win is to make sure you follow the Zenless Zone Zero Twitter account and then quote the tweet along with a hashtag and tagging a friend. As mentioned, this Twitter event is also only available for one day, so be sure to act fast if you want your chance to win those 10 master tapes. The link to this tweet will be down in the description below. Otherwise, on to the main content of patch 1.2. So the theme for this patch is going to be going out into the outer ring, aka the old city where instead of ether, people use oil. That's right, we're going fracking. And out here, biker gangs rule the land. And the one in charge of all of the trade routes out in here is called the Overlord. And to decide on an Overlord, a race known as the Tour de Inferno takes place. And that is going to be the main story of Chapter 4, that we will be taking part in as Phaethon. Some interesting things that we can expect to see in this main story are, aside from meeting the Sons of Caledon, is that we will also be meeting a rival gang of Therans called the Vanquishers. Will they end up being a friend or a foe? Only time will tell. Otherwise, of course, we also can expect to see some new enemies, as well as uncovering the truth behind the previous Overlord, Pompey, who has gone missing. Otherwise though, as expected from the drip marketing, we also had the banners listed for the patch, with the first being Caesar's banner and the second being Burnice's banner. We were also shown some gameplay for both of them. Caesar is essentially a character capable of parrying enemy attacks with her EX skill and counter-attacking to apply some debuffs to the enemies around her. She is also able to apply a shield to the team that obviously, aside from protecting you from taking damage, also gives the team an anti-interrupt effect. Meanwhile, Burnice is able to apply a special burning effect to enemies that linger even when she switches off field. And then whenever a squadmate attacks this special burning enemy, they take afterburn damage, which is able to build up the fire anomaly even while Burnice is off field. Now, these of course were very simple explanations for these two, so if you want full breakdowns of these characters and their kits as well as their signature wengeance, might I suggest that you subscribe to my channel so that you can be notified as soon as I upload guides for both Caesar and Burnice. Otherwise though, aside from the main story, we will also be getting an agent story for Burnice to learn more about her. Now, despite Lighter definitely appearing in the story as we saw him plenty of times, no information was shown about him or his kit though. Instead, we did get to see a new S-rank Bangboo, the Red Marcus, who attacks by riding in a big wheel and crashing it into the enemy, kind of similar to how Rocket Boo just straddles a rocket into the enemy. Man, these Bangboos are so cool. Those aren't the only new things though that will be introduced in patch 1.2, as there will also be a new Notorious Hunt stage and Expert Challenge stage as well. These are very likely going to drop the materials needed to raise Caesar and Burnice's core passives. But wait, there's more. There are also two new disc sets that both seem tailor-made for the new girls. Chaos Jazz boosts the anomaly proficiency on the 2-piece set, and in the 4-piece set, it increases fire damage as well as electric damage, and also EX skill damage specifically when the character is off field. So this is pretty much tailor-made for Burnice. Meanwhile, Protopunk provides a buff to shields on the 2-piece set, and the 4-piece set increases the whole squad's damage by 15% when triggering a defensive assist or an evasive assist. So basically when you use one of the assist points to tag an ally in as you're about to be hit, which does seem good for Caesar, but honestly pretty good for most other defenders as well, like Seth and Ben. Now, to help everyone farm for all of these new materials and discs, we can expect some double drop events to happen at some point throughout patch 1.2. But forget about all of these things though. Since we are in the outer ring, we're surrounded by biker gangs. That can only mean one thing. We're going to be able to ride bikes in the game. They heard people say that the TVs were boring and they went hard on the upgrades. This is likely just going to be for a specific part of the main story, I assume, but boy oh boy would I love to be able to race against others in like a Mario Kart-esque game mode. Otherwise though, that is going to be it for the main story. So now let's go over the various events that we can expect to see throughout patch 1.2. First off, we will be receiving a new set of combat commissions to test our metal in 1.2. But as for the first main type of event, it is going to start off with the Overlord's Feast, where we will help run a diner. Now this event is going to be very important as completing it will earn you a free Lucy, which which I think everyone can definitely appreciate. Next up though, we have a new addition to the arcade, and honestly it looks like an actual fully fledged roguelike game, complete with the ability to unlock other characters. So it's kind of like a gacha within a gacha, so it's like gachaception. There also appears to be a new Shiyu defense mode called the ambush node that references the typical disputed node, although this appears to be a one-time thing, so not like a rotator like the critical nodes. We will also have another event called Roaming the Ether, which looks to be similar to the Golden Camellia week, where Nicole will send us down into the TV world again to do her bidding. Otherwise, there will also be a puzzle event over at Howl's newsstand where we can earn polychromes and name cards to pimp out our profiles. And then of course, everyone's favorite store assistant Shell will return running another 1-for-1 convenience store. There will also be 2 login events where we can once again earn 10 encrypted tapes and 10 boupons for simply just logging in for 7 days in a row. Otherwise though, that is going to be it for the events. Now, moving on to some other new implementations and quality of life adjustments, we have some things that I am sure everyone will be very pleased to hear. Firstly, if you have cleared a commission but for whatever reason you didn't claim all of the rewards during your exploration, you can now have Fairy go and get those rewards for you, albeit all you have to do is give Fairy a little bit of time to actually get them. Speaking of time though, I know not everyone always has time to dump all of their stamina, which is why it is going to be very nice that we can now sort of store stamina with these backup battery charges. Next is something really big though. It is a new mode called the Investigator Training Course, which is similar to the recent event of the immersive tactical drill we just had, where you can take part in various trials with specific conditions in play, and you even get to try out agents that you don't own. But the big thing is that once you complete these stages, this unlocks a sort of Pokemon daycare-like system, where you can leave an agent here to train and they will earn XP passively without any investment needed from you. Now, for those of you that hate the TV mode sections of the game, I have good news and great news. The good news is that animations will now be streamlined, so moving around will be faster as there's less delays between the shuffling of squares, and the camera will no longer zoom in for every little minor event that happens. And as for the great news, for the Hollow Zero mode specifically, a Blitz mode will be added that lets you go straight to the battles and skip the TV sections entirely. This will speed up those weekly Hollow Zero runs by a lot. Next up is making the squad selection a lot nicer by allowing us to save squad presets to very quickly choose between a specific team that we want, and also giving us the option to deselect a Bangbu if for whatever reason you want to do that. And also in Shiyu defense, when enemy weaknesses flip-flop between the 2 sides very frequently, there will now be an option to just straight up switch the 2 teams from the 2 sides without having to go and manually select each agent every time. Now, this next one was alluded to a while back in the redo renovation talks, but in patch 1.2, when exploring on the overworld, you will now be able to switch freely between Belle and Weiss. But more importantly though, you will also have the chance to choose between Caesar and Burnice, assuming that you get them, of course. For now, it will only be limited to these 4 characters, but supposedly by patch 1.4, this feature will be available for all agents. And last but not least, we will also be able to freely change the time of the day at will to help get those specific commissions or trust events that are tied to specific times of the day. Now, that was pretty much it for the live stream, but this is your typical ZZZ news, so I will also mention that there is one other Twitter competition that was announced, and that is the Selfie event, where 100 lucky participants will win a Zenless Zone Zero merch bundle. To clarify though, this is an in-game selfie. Please do not dox yourself by posting IRL selfies. This is specifically selfies using the selfie function in-game. Now for this event there is no rush though, as it will run all the way until the 26th of September. Again, link to this competition will be down in the description below. Again, since this was a special news episode of Zenless Zone Zero News, this coming Monday there will not be another news episode, as pretty much anything that would have been covered there would have been just covered here. However, you should still consider subscribing anyway, as of course the Zenless Zone Zero News will continue the week after that. And in the meantime, I will be planning on uploading plenty of videos that will help you prepare for everything coming up in patch 1.2. Otherwise though, thank you as always for watching. If you found this video helpful, liking, commenting and subscribing is greatly appreciated. And so, until next time, bye bye.